Alright, what you see here is a Casablanca stealth ceiling fan. I bought this off of Brandon C. Johnson, and it's one of my favorite scores that I've gotten from him. One, the fact that it came brand new in a box, except for that he had already unboxed it and did a video of it about 4 to 5 years ago now, where he showed it with a pretty long down rod. But that's for this test area. Obviously, I'm using it with a shorter one. But yeah, this fan is from April 6, 2006, and it is the 94th fan made that day. This one uses the XLP motor, so it is a Hunter version in a sense, as it was made after Hunter bought out Casablanca in 1997. It was in either 1996 to 1997, I think, that they bought him out. But yeah, this fan is nearly bent. Has a few scuffs here and there on the blade tips due to it sitting around. But out of all the Casablancas that I had, this one might be the most mint one, obviously. But there's definitely some other ones that I could say are in a little bit better shape. But out of all the selves that I have, this one's definitely in the best shape. The blade tips, I'm not, wish they weren't scratched, but they do scratch very easily, unfortunately. But I can always just find replacement ones if I was to ever install it somewhere. I do have this intelitouch W32 hooked up over here to test it with. And I do have a Casablanca wall plate. This will make it look more neat. But yeah, this fan, I've always loved these Casablanca shelves. They're one of the few Casablanca fans I remember as a kid, due to the fact that my grandmother gave me a Casablanca brochure from 2001, and the shelf was one of the few fans I remember in that catalog. Now the Delta 2 was in that one, the Verrazano, the Grande, and a few others. Oh, the New Orleans, I definitely remember that one. But yeah, has the Hunter style down rod, as you can see. But yeah, this fan's just, it's a very incredible fan. These were originally introduced in the early 90s in 1991. I have a black stove that came with rosewood blades that I got off of eBay that has a cover touch control. That's the earliest stove that I have. And over the years, I did make some changes to them. Appearance-wise, they stayed the same for the most part. Not really any major design changes except for like the mounting hardware mostly. But originally they were cover touch, then they made them either cover touch or intelitouch, which would be an example of that would be the brush nickel one that I have. And then later on they made them advanced touch, which another example would be the architectural white one that I have from the early 2000s. Then there's this version that's kind of the same category. Then they made the spinner motor ones, and now they have the DC ones. So there's kind of been like 4 to 5 versions of the stove. So this is kind of like the second or third version. Well, actually, no, it's more so the third version because it has an XLP motor. So, yeah. Let me go ahead and turn on the light. And you can see it does work. Definitely would like to try it with bleached oak blades. Unfortunately, I don't have any at the moment. Well, I do have some wood blades from the architectural white one I'm definitely going to try on this to see how it looks. But yeah, Let me go ahead and turn off the lighting behind me. Now I can test how well it lights up the space. Well, honestly, it's not too bad. Now, if I was to install a stove somewhere, it would be in a room where I wouldn't really use the light too much, due to the fact that I wouldn't want the flywheel to get worn out and then the fan would start to scrape. Now I'm going to go ahead and start showing on the demo mode. There we go. Still kind of getting used to using the intelitouch controls. I'm not too familiar with them. But more so, the W32s, the buttons on them, I'm still getting used to pressing them. Like I say though, for brand to have found this for $50 brand new in a box out of Habitat, that's definitely a steal. All right. Now to show it on low. I think I just let it start back on its own. Now I can kind of see how long it takes for it to start up, or just catch up to speed more specifically. Now this one I can definitely say, the speeds I feel are a little bit slower on this one than the black and brushed nickel one that I have. Just a tiny bit, but I feel like it's more so not that it uses an XLP motor. It's more so the fact that this fan is basically right out of the box, except for when Brandon tested it. So it's only been used since then. So the bearings aren't really truly broken in and such. I can see this in so many installation settings, like various stores in the mall, gyms, movie theaters, restaurants. I know I've seen these in showrooms as a kid. I'm not sure if I saw them at the Grande lighting before they closed that one. I know I went there once when I was really young, like 9, 10 years old. I feel like they might have had something similar to this there. I know they had the Monte Carlo version, that like a 3-weighted one. And they had another one, I think. He might have had a stove for there, but I'm not 100% sure. I know I saw these as a kid at the Light and Leisure showroom. I remember seeing those and the Mega Air Concept 2s. Now, I would dim the light a bit more, like I done with the 1 Word 2, more so the white one. But the only issue is that on the camera it doesn't really look any different. It looks about the same, so it's kind of no point for me to do that. If I was doing it like in a room where that's the only thing that's winding it up, that's definitely a different story. But it's also, fan has quite a bit of speed, so I gotta show it on, so I'm not trying to make the video too long. I'm not sure if they ever made gloss bleached oak blades for this. If they did, I definitely would like to find a set for this one. It's one of the few fans that I actually really like in the all-white look. I wouldn't mind installing it just the way it is. There's certain fans I prefer having it either or, and then there's fans I prefer having it with the white oak or bleached oak side versus the white side facing down. This one, I don't mind it. Now these Casablanca Sellers fans, you can definitely say that they are very iconic ceiling fan for the Casablanca brand. The fact that they've been selling them for the past 30 years, since 1991, and now we're in the year 2021. It's definitely a fan that's brought about many changes to the fan industry. There's a lot of companies that have tried to replicate it over the years. Hampton Bay, Harbor Breeze, Monte Carlo. There's a lot of companies that have borrowed aspects from the Stealth over the years. But this one's definitely, but the Stealth is basically one of the first contemporary ceiling fans. Oh, contemporary and modern fans. All right, now for speed 2. But yeah, it's definitely. I would even consider installing this in my bedroom. Although I'd prefer to have it with bleached oak blades, probably. I definitely can see myself installing this somewhere when I get my own place. So I'd probably prefer putting up one of the other ones instead. I think I'd probably put up the black one that I have or the brushed nickel one. Those are probably the two I'd put up. Oh, the architectural white one is definitely one I'd consider putting up as well. This one would probably be like for a bedroom or an office, if anything. But it's also in such nice condition due to it being brand new out of box. I kind of want to keep it like that until I find a permanent install for it. There we go. I was just accidentally dimmed it a bit when I was turning it on. But it's just amazing to see that something like this came out in 1991, and to this day, it's still a fan that sells. I mean, obviously, there are different finishes nowadays compared to when it originally came out. But yeah, let me go ahead and move the fan up to the next speed, which I'm pretty sure it's speed 3. I kind of forgot what speed it was on, but yeah, it definitely seems to be speed 3. Definitely moving a good breeze on speed 3. Speed 1 is more of like a just an aesthetic low. Speed 2 is more of like a normal low. Speed 3 is kind of like a medium low. Or more so of a medium speed, if anything. But yeah, this and the white Windward 2, those are my two favorite white contemporary ceiling fans. Or modern, I guess you could say, even though this one's been around for 30 years. In a sense, the design's kind of more of a vintage design. Same thing with the Windward too, and like the Emerson, like the Midway. That design's been around for like 20 years now too. So there we go. Definitely can say that this would look really nice in my cousin's living room in the Dominican Republic, where they have that Hamilton industrial fan, basically a KDK knockoff. Although it definitely would be better if they had the newer version that has a spinner motor in it. That way, it doesn't have any scraping issues down the road. And speaking of which, that is something I forgot to mention earlier in the video. This, along with the Mission, I think it is, do have an issue, well, they can develop an issue where, due to the heat that the light produces, and the blade hub being heavy for the flywheel, it can over time sink downwards and now cause it to scrape. It is something that can be fixed. I know John Pernock, better known on YouTube as iHeartFans, has a video on how to fix that issue. But it is something that you definitely want to keep note of. Now for speed 4. Yeah, this is definitely more like a medium speed, if anything. Alright, now to move it up to, well, actually, no, maybe we'll have to show up to white, and then move it up to speed 5. I don't know, surprise, obviously, this one, the flywheel or the blades badges, you can see that they're not wobbling around a lot and such. And that's because this fan's never really been used. I feel like if I was to install this just the way it is, it'd probably be in the kitchen. Only thing is the blades will probably get yellowed over time. Well, probably not entirely, depends. Probably would be one of the last places I installed in, but it's a place I feel like it would look nice in. All right, now for speed 5. I think probably like a living room or a bedroom I'd install it in. Now that I think about it, if I was to put one in the office, it would probably be either the brushed nickel one or the classic white one. Although this one I consider as well. It really depends once I get my own place and move out of this apartment in the next few years. And what I actually decide, but it's definitely doesn't mean I want to be swap stuff out here and there. It's definitely moving a good breeze on speed 5. Now, something I figured I'd also mention is that despite the newer ones not using a stack motor anymore, just using a spinner motor or the DC one, in a sense, that is an upgrade from this due to the fact that it won't have that issue where the flywheel would give out over time due to the weight and the heat drying out the flywheel and causing it to scrape. So that is a plus with the newer versions that they make. In terms of which one's more powerful, probably would have to go with the older ones without a question. But I know that the newer ones are extremely powerful as well. So they're definitely still a good fan to buy nowadays. Well, if you're looking for one that you don't have to really do work on it, flywheels to give out, or something like that, or if it starts to scrape, I would definitely go with the newer one. Alright, now let's move it up to speed 6, which is high. Right off the bat, I can definitely say it definitely does go slower than the brushed nickel one and the black one that I have. Haven't gotten around to testing the classic white one yet, but yeah, it definitely does go a little bit slower. And it is moving a bit less air than those two do. At the same time, this one is brand new out of the box, so that does give it a disadvantage compared to those two. And it does also use an XLP, so that could be another reason, but I do feel like it's more so that this one's bearings haven't broken in yet. but still, it is a very good air mover. Definitely outperforms spinning motor 100 fan without a question. Definitely stack motor air movement without a question. I mean, they are pricey fans, but it's a showroom quality fan, and one that definitely does a great job cooling down the room. And it just has such a very classy look to it. So it has a contemporary modern look, but it's also a very classy looking fan at the same time. Yeah, it's definitely a very powerful fan without a question. Definitely do expect more intelitouch fans to be tested throughout this year. It's just when it comes to testing them, it does take quite a bit of time. So I usually try to do these ones on the time when I have more spare time to film them. They definitely take about twice as long for me to film compared to the other ones that I do. Especially since they have 6 speeds on them instead of just 3 or 4 speeds. Alright, now let's shut off a new spin down, and then after that I'll show it on reverse. Spin down shouldn't be too long on this one, probably a minute, around there, either less than a minute or a little bit over a minute. But yeah, if I was to install this somewhere, it'd probably be a spare bedroom or like an office. One of those two. Probably a spare bedroom, though, not an office. Probably would put something a little bit cooler in an office. Well, not cooler. I mean, itself a pretty cool fan, but like something else that has more of an office look. Or even a brushed nickel shelf in black with the glass black blades. That one I'd even consider for an office, but not a white one, probably. That is something I've been trying to cut out of the video, but since already doing the spin down, I'm not even gonna bother. What I am gonna do is just cut the video once it starts spinning, just so I can shut off the thing so it doesn't go off in a video. Alright, and I'll pick it up in just a sec. Alright, now to show it on reverse. Normally I would wait for the sound to stop, but with this fan being one that's definitely will take quite a bit of time to test, I'm just gonna go with it, basically. Plus, it's just what I'm showing on reverse. Yeah, it's just the furnace is like kind of preparing to start back up again. Or it's like loading up the oil and such. It's still a bit cool though. By the time you see it, it's definitely be warmer out and such. Would have been one that'd be better to test in the summertime because it is a little bit on the cooler side down here. Not extremely cool, but in general. Same time, it's the one I've been wanting to test for a while now. Along with the brushed nickel one. So that one I've already tested. For speed 2 on reverse. All right, now for speed 3. In fact, now that I think about it, it's actually my first fan I'm testing. That's with the IT, well, IntelliTouch. It has an XLP motor. So it definitely is curious. It's interesting to see how each performs with IntelliTouch versus 3 or 4 speed. In terms of like the speeds and speed range and the air movement. All right, now for speed 4. Yeah, I know nowadays I think these go for about $500, the newest version of them. I know there's one finish that they're selling. I forget what it's called, but I think it's a really unique one. I forget the name, but I know I'll probably remember it right after the video. It's like an iron finish or something, and it has like light wood blades, like worn out looking blades of some sort. It's not an iron finish, it's more like a black. It's kind of like the graphite finish they had before, but I don't remember what it's called. So I think it's like the current black looking one that they sell. I just don't remember the name of the finish. But that's one I would definitely buy new. Like, obviously for a cheaper price. In fact, that'd probably be like my ideal kitchen fan if I was to have a more modern looking kitchen. All right, now for speed 5. All right, now for speed 6, which is the highest speed. Now, something I'm going to say now is that this one, compared to the other cells that I have, the air movement on this is more, how do I say, the Hands-made 1 or 2 that I have, both of them, air movement on those, I can definitely say they're pretty on par with this fan right here. And since I tested those two not too long ago, I can definitely say they're, of those statements of people saying that they're on par with a Casablanca fan or showroom one, I can definitely say they're pretty close to the air movement of this XLP Stealth that I have here. Oh, the bearings on this one aren't 100% broken in, so it's not really the fairest statement, but it's almost about the same air movement, believe it or not. Oh, this one definitely does move a bit more air, and also it sounds more quiet with the air sound versus the 1 or 2 of those Glossmer wind blades. And you get 6 speeds out of this fan, which I think is better. Alright, now to put it back in downdraft and shut it off. And that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos to come.